And I've been thinking a lot about how another person could replicate what I've done so far. And what you have to understand is that I started out on this journey as someone who was having a hyper-religious episode, not unlike countless people have done before, that are hospitalized, medicated, incarcerated, or they wind up dead. But for me, to get to the point where I was anointed, where God went boop, and let me know that He exists, I clung to the coincidences that happened in my life, all of them. I said, it's just like it's too many of them. It's impossible that this would happen, that all of these would happen as they did. And in clinging to them, ultimately proving that God exists when He made Himself, known to me. Anyone could have done that. It didn't have to be the coincidences of my life. It could have been, if I were someone else, it could have been the coincidences of your life. You could be clinging on to yourself. And in doing so, your coincidences, like my coincidences, like the coincidences of Jesus, who, had the prophetic sort of, there's a star over Bethlehem, there's a virgin birth, all of those were just coincidences that He met and clung to make His mind believe that He was the Son of God. Just like written in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, all of those statements align with my childhood, so I cling to those, and I know now that I'm the Son of God. Well, any other human being, if you think about and you inventory every coincidence in your life, then you can cling to those and realize you're the son, daughter, or whatever, gender, I don't know what the terms are, but anything in between, you are the, child of God. And once that locks in your mind, you have the same power as me, as Jesus, as Moses, who also had prophecy that aligned with his birth. And I guess it primes your mind so you know that God is operating in your life via those coincidences. He's been an architect of your life for your entire life, and it helps put you in a frame of mind where you become spiritually enlightened, and your entire mission, or you have an awareness of God that puts you in a spiritual zone, unlike the zone that 99.99% of humanity is in at this point. My job is to ensure that we can all flip on that spiritual switch at the same time. So instead of having an isolated incident where you have someone who's in a hyper-religious episode like me, or whoever else is out there going through this, up against the entire world, all of a sudden, because we flip a switch on a mass number of people, now we have a huge camp of like-minded individuals. So it's not like such a Herculean effort to maintain this frame of mind in a world that is built against this frame of mind. If that makes sense. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, think about any coincidences in your life. Those were all God, 100% of them. Write them down and think about or cling to them in those moments of doubt where you're saying, oh, this is foolish, oh, this is stupid. It's not. Just like with me, just like with Jesus, just like with Moses, it was all God. And if you can keep yourself in that frame of mind when you wake up in the morning, to inventory them and say, or not inventory, but review the inventory of every coincidence and say, you know what, God does exist. Then it puts you in the frame of mind where you go into the spiritual zone for the rest of the day. When I wake up in the morning, when Jesus woke up in the morning, when Noah woke up in the morning, Moses, all the people from the Bible, they were no different in their way of thinking than you and the rest of the world in 2018. However, because they had those different prophetic requirements that they were able to, meet, because they were written down somewhere, it put them in a spiritual frame of mind for the rest of the day. And whenever you lose that frame of mind, you go back into the frame of mind of the world, which you know, is based off items of the flesh and material stuff and everything that we see around us. It's not a spiritual zone. But if you can get into that spiritual zone and stay there, and anytime you fall out of it, remember those coincidences, then you'll be able to hop right back into it. And in that zone, because you're aware of God, hey God, how you doing? You know, and he sees everything you do, he understands and knows every thought you have in real time, and he's giving you feedback to your body, which is an antenna. If you feel like a pang of any sort of pain, it's him saying, nope, that thought you just had, revise it, or what you just did, revise it. And you know, you can stay in that zone. And if you perfect this, you live forever, period. Because he's not going to want to kill someone who, you know, by disease or natural disaster or, you know, murder or whatever it is. He doesn't want that to happen to one of his children. But when you slip out of it, well then, you know, you're kind of on your own. And you get the free will. You can stay where you're at mentally, or you can come into a psychological zone that, you know, it makes you sort of a child of God. But I just wanted to share that because I was thinking about, you know, how does a normal person, you know, achieve this state? And you already have the template. In fact, you could look at really any part of the Bible, and instead of seeing, oh, well, you know, it's Jesus came, he was the root of David, you know, or I'm the root of David, or Moses was, you know, a descendant of Abraham and all that stuff. I guess we all were, but my point is, you can put your family's name into, in place of Abraham, or in place of Moses, you know, or the line of David, and you can say, oh, that's the line, and you can just kind of put your own lineage there and realize, oh, it's the same stuff. So instead of there being one Messiah, we're going to have billions of Messiahs. You just got to get it all to happen at the same time. But I'm working on that, and don't worry, it's just the Davidic process where it's like, you know, it's what we do, is we change the world in one shot. It's kind of how the whole Davidic blood thing works. But just wanted to share that, guys. So later.